This is Summer Huntington of Steel Mace Vinyasa and Flow Shala. Today we'll be talking about big wheel and mountain pose and the importance of mobilizing your lats. I'm here in London teaching a 2.5-day seminar, and I always try to integrate as much spine mobility as I can into my seminars and most of my classes, because most training systems do not train the spine in lateral bending. We use a light load, a 7-pound, a 5-pound, a 10-pound mace. This is a 7. And we actually load our spine in lateral flexion here to create elasticity, and then we recoil and we return to the starting position. Let's start with owning landmarks. Elbow to rib, top hand faces away, shoulders packed, glutes on, core on. A solid mountain pose, the legs are straight, the glutes are engaged, the chin is pulled back so that there's length in the back of the neck. Common misalignment is to leak power by having a slight knee bend, jutting the hips forward, and not connecting the glutes, lats, and core. When everything's connected, the legs are straight, the glutes are engaged, the pelvis is in neutral, and the skull is pulled back and creating traction. From here, once you're in your landmark, elbow to rib, you're gonna initiate your side bend. Level 1 would be just arcing the mace and finding that path here. So I'm loading one side of the lat minimally at first, and then over time, I can add my lateral flexion of the spine, elbow to the rib, bring it back to the starting position. Common misalignment here is to shift the hips, but you'll find when you're doing it correctly, you're targeting just your upper mid-back, the area that most people have limited mobility. So again, when I train under load, I train this spinal flexion safely, my body registers that new range of motion and creates stability there so that when I take my load away, it's easier for me to do side bending postures, such as standing side bend. So in a standing side bend, I need to have that lateral bending range of motion. I need to have both strength and stability there, as well as mobility. Let's try it on the other side, just for good measure. We always want to work both sides of the spine. You'll notice oftentimes you'll have one side that's more mobile. We want to work out the asymmetries in the spine. We start with our landmark. This is reverse guard position, elbow married to the rib. We're in our solid mountain pose structure, glutes on, core on. Level 1, we just trace the mace in an arcing pattern to introduce that path of the mace, maintaining grip conformation, arriving here with the forearm below the chin. When ready, you can start to move laterally and feel that stretch on the side body, and then recoil. What's happening here is side body gets a stretch, so I'm pulping dense fascia in my lats, and then I use my obliques to spring me back into that position. When I do this fast, I add a little power, my body registers it as a slightly heavier load. I'm creating elasticity throughout my entire myofascial matrix. Again, how this applies to sport, even if you're not a yogi, when you have more range of motion in your thoracic spine, whether that be lateral bending in this instance or thoracic rotation, you can tap into a greater range of motion, which allow you to get more power and more stability in the spine. Everyone needs more power and more stability in the spine. This applies directly to quality of life as well and decreasing pain.